everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do this video a while ago. I mentioned it on Twitter and you guys seemed interested in seeing a video like this. But of course I took a little break from making YouTube videos, but I thought I would get back into the swing of things, and I wanted to start it off with sharing my multiple editions of Pride and Prejudice. So if you follow me on Instagram, or if you know me personally, you know that I have a very strange obsession with Pride and Prejudice and collecting multiple editions of Pride and Prejudice. It is one of my favorite classics. I love the movie, I love the TV show, the BBC adaptation TV show. I really love any adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Even Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, not the best, but it's okay. But the important thing is I love the story. It's such a classic story, it's beautiful, and it makes me happy. So I love it. It's just one of those stories that I can't help but love. I don't think I really need to explain too much about what Pride and Prejudice is about because it's such a well-known story. Most people already know about it. It's like the classic hate to love romance, and it's set in the Regency period, which is when it was written. It was written by Jane Austen, and it's probably her famous story that she's written. It's one that has been told and retold over and over again in very different formats. And anyway, so I've collected multiple editions of this. I currently have 15 at the moment, not including my bind up edition of Jane Austen's novels. So I have a big book. It's over there. I was going to grab it, but it's over there. But I'm not including that one in my 15 different editions of Pride and Prejudice. How did I come to have this many editions? I honestly do not know. Like, every time I go to the bookshop or a secondhand bookshop, I always just come across a different edition and I'm like, hey, I don't have this one, I'm gonna grab it, and before you know it, I've got 15. But I've also had help from my friend Ashley, who is Midford the Logophile over on Instagram, and she has also purchased quite a few editions of Pride and Prejudice for me in forms of like birthday presents or Christmas presents. So yes, I've just ended up with all these different editions, and I'm still going. I am aiming to get to 20 and then see where I'm at, because honestly there are so many editions out there and they just keep pumping out new ones. Like, it's amazing. So I'm pretty much going to show you all these different editions. Not going to go into too much information because it's essentially the same book, just different edition. But yeah, I'll tell you when they're published and whatnot, and if I remember how I got them, I'll tell you that. So we're just going to start off with my least favorite editions to my most favorite edition. I love them all, but this was like the best way I could think of to rank them. So let's just get started. First one I have is this one, which is your basic people on the cover edition. The reason that it's at the bottom is because I had a sticker on the cover and I could not get it off, which really bugs me, and I hate when they put stickers on books, as I'm sure you all do as well. This one's just a basic cover. I mean, I love the writing here, it's actually quite pretty, but not the biggest fan of people or faces on covers, like actual people, not so much drawings, but actual people on the covers. But it's okay. Like, I think this was one of the more recent ones I've bought too when I was at a secondhand bookshop fairly recently. Yeah, so this is the Insight edition, which has trivia and notes and things as well in it. But this one was published in 2007, it looks like. The next edition I have is probably a very familiar one, and that is the BBC adaptation edition. This is based on the BBC show that stars Colin Firth and Jennifer L, I think her name is, and it's beautiful. I love the BBC TV show. It is so good. Colin Firth is just the best Mr. Darcy. I mean, that scene where he's coming out of the water and he's all drenched and you can see through his shirt, it's just perfect. So this is like the movie TV show edition, and I think it came out around the same time as the show did. So this one, oh, it's a Penguin book edition too, so it's not too fancy. 1995, yeah, so pretty much as soon as the TV show came out was 1995, so it's a tie-in to the adaptation. The next one I have is your basic Collins Classics edition, which you've probably seen everywhere. They're very, very popular. Most classics are done in this edition. It's a very simple, very classy edition. And this one I just got at my local bookshop, but this edition was published in 2010, so about 10 years ago. The next one is the Wordsworth Classics edition, which is very similar to the Collins Classics. You see a lot of classics done in these editions, quite a lot. And I actually do like the artistry on the front here. It kind of gives me like Renaissance vibes in a way. I don't know why, but it does. I mean, it doesn't really look like how I would think Pride and Prejudice would be illustrated as, but I like it. It's pretty. This particular edition was originally 1993, but then they redid it in 1999 to add a different introduction. So technically it's 1999. Sorry, I had to fix the lighting up there. It got a little bit dark for a second there. But this next one I have is actually very, very classy. It kind of looks ancient Rome inspired. Look at that. It's really, really pretty. This one was one that I got in a secondhand bookshop as well. It was published by the New American Library in 1961. So this is a fairly old edition, and it's actually got some notes in it as well from the person who owned it before, I believe. I don't know if you can actually see, but there's notes like written up here and everything, which is actually pretty cool. So it looks like an edition they used to study. So I really like this one. It's actually very quaint. So this next edition is a very, very small sort of pocket-sized one. Very plain and simple. There's nothing on the cover. It's all on the spine, as you can see. And, you know, the pages are stained and everything. It's definitely one that came from a secondhand bookshop, and I love it because it looks like that and because it has the old musty book smell. But this one I think is actually my oldest one, and it was 1952. This next one is actually a very, very different one, and it looks like this. It's the Classics Unfolded. So there's a bunch of classics that come in this sort of edition where I will take it out. It just gives you your basic information and basic story. So kind of like the Cliff's Notes version of Pride and Prejudice, but they do a bunch of different classics like that. Also really good for kids, but it has the list of characters in there, and in 30 seconds what it is about, and then you unfold it and it's literally the story in the shortest and easiest way possible. Yeah, it's just really cool. The illustrations are very, very nice, and I just think it's a great way to read a classic if you don't want to actually read the whole thing. So it's lovely. But this one I think was 2017. So 2015. This next one is from Classic Library, and it was published in 2015 as well. It's really simple, surprisingly heavy as well, and it's actually quite nice. Like, it's a very classy style edition. I'm pretty sure I got this one from the bookshop too, not a secondhand, but the actual local bookshop, and it's just beautiful. Simple, beautiful. This next one was actually my very first Pride and Prejudice edition, and it looks like this. So this is very simple, very elegant. It actually comes with illustrations and I believe like information all about Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice. So not just the entire story, but like her life, her timeline, what England was like. It's really, really cool, especially if you're studying Jane Austen as well. This was 2009, I believe. The next one I have was actually a present from Ashley, of course, and it is part of the Pulp the Classics editions, which all kind of look very pulp fiction inspired. And how cool is this? It makes Mr. Darcy look like a bad guy. It's really, really cool. And on the front it says, "Lock up your daughters, Darcy's in town." It's fantastic, and it's even got sprayed edges. I love the look of it. It's so cool. So there's a bunch of different editions as well of different stories, different classic stories, as you can see there. And this one was published in 2013. The next edition that I have is this one, which I can't think of what the actual editions are called. It's like cloth bound or something like that. But I have a couple of classics in this style. I just think it's so pretty, and I really want to get more in this style. So this one was published in 2015. This next one is actually surprisingly heavy. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the beauty of this one. I love the color scheme in this one as well, especially again the sprayed edges. I am a sucker for a good sprayed edge, but I love the purple and the pink and the blue. Just like the whole color scheme is just beautiful in this. And it also has illustrations in here too. Look at that. I feel like the illustrations just add so much more to the story as well. Like, it's perfect without it, but it also adds something to it. This particular edition was published 2015 as well. Oh no, sorry, 2017. This particular one was published, and yeah, it's pretty. And I love the back as well with the blurb, which I think is just a quote, which is, "Do not consider me now as an elegant female intending to plague you, but as a rational creature speaking the truth from her heart." It's gorgeous. I really love this one too. I mean, I love them all, but you know, we're getting to like the great ones. So this next one is a graphic novel, which again, you can get a bunch of different classics in this style as well. I have Sense and Sensibility in this too. I just think, again, it's really, really good to have these, especially if you want to read classics, but you don't feel like you're ready to actually read the classic properly. So you can get more of an idea, more of the gist of what the classic is about. You can read it in comic book version. So this is done by Marvel Comics, as you can see up in the corner there. And look at that, like the whole story is just done comic book style, and it is really freaking cool. It's super quick to get through too, and it literally gives you the whole story, but in comic book form. It's awesome. I'm not sure when this one was published. I think it was 2010. I think, yeah, 2010. But like, how cool is that? Pride and Prejudice, Marvel comic style. I love it. This next one I actually got last year. It was part of a wedding present from Ashley, and I absolutely love it so much. It's a manga version of Pride and Prejudice. No idea where the hell she got it from, but she did inscribe it for me. As you can see, she put a little note there because I asked her to be the maid of honor, and she was so excited. And yeah, it's what she gave to me. It was just beautiful little gift. And of course with manga you read it backwards, but it is really, really cool. Again, like the comic book, but obviously manga style. Very different design, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I haven't read it yet, but I know it's just going to be so cool because Pride and Prejudice as a manga is fantastic. Like a fantastic idea. And you can also get Sense and Sensibility and Emma, it looks like, if you have a look there. But I think it's really, really cool. So I'm not sure when this one was published. I think it was not too long ago, it looks like. I honestly don't know. Oh no, 2017. There we go. Last but not least is my most favorite edition, and also my recent one, which again Ashley got me as a gift. This was part of my Christmas present for this year. It is the Lit Joy Crate edition, which I saw and I had to have it, but before I knew it, Ashley had gotten it for me. It needs no introduction because it's beautiful. Look at that. Look at how pretty this thing is. It's even got the gold pages. It's just beautiful. It makes me so happy. But like, look at it, the back. Gorgeous. And it also has illustrations on the inside too, such as that. And this one, it's just beautiful. Like the gold, the black and the silver is so elegant and pretty, and I love it so much. Look at it. But this one was published obviously this year. It only just came out this year, and it is so pretty. It's even got a quote at the front going across the 2 pages, which is the most famous quote, which is, "It is a truth universally acknowledged." And then on the back is another quote going across the 2 pages, and I think that one is, "I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine." And it's just across the pages. Honestly, my favorite and now my most cherished edition. It's so pretty. I love it. So I don't think I'll get an edition any better than this one. It's beautiful. But yeah, so that is all my beautiful editions of Pride and Prejudice that have now fallen everywhere on the floor, and I love them. I just wanted to share them with you all because I'm obsessed, and it is the most I've owned in one particular book. There's a few here. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one, whenever that will be. Thanks for watching. Bye!